Hello everyone and welcome to my kitchen. Tonight I am making pie crust cookies. This is a great way to use up any leftover pie crust that you might have, but they're so delicious you just might find yourself making up pie crust dough specifically for this. I know that I was. So the first thing that you're going to need, of course, is a pie crust dough. I have linked in the description my recipe for pie crust. You can do a single crust, which is what I have here, or you can do a double recipe to get double the amount of cookies out of it. And of course, you can also use a store-bought crust if you're not comfortable making your own pie crust. So I obviously just took my pie crust out of the fridge and rolled it out here. And then I'm just going to use my cookie cutter to cut out the shapes for us here. I'm using a little bit of a maple leaf cutter because it's fall and, leaves. So just cut out all of your shapes, and then once you have everything cut out, you can kind of squidge the remaining dough together and kind of roll it out again and go from there. Just be aware that every time you squidge it together like that, it's going to get a little bit tougher, so you want to minimize that. Now, while I have my pie crust cookies on my tray, I am going to get together everything that I will be needing here. So the first thing I'm doing is getting my cinnamon sugar ready. So I have about a cup of vanilla sugar here. Now, I've talked about vanilla sugar before. Basically, all this is you put a vanilla bean, used or unused, in a jar of some sugar and just shake it around and let it sit there for a while, and it will take on the smell of the vanilla. It will get some of the vanilla bean caviar in there, and it's just really good. You don't have to use vanilla sugar, you can just use a regular sugar. That is perfectly fine. To my sugar, I added about a quarter of a teaspoon of nutmeg and about 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. It's just really nice and warm and delicious that way. And now I am brushing my pie crust cookies with a little bit of egg white. Just one egg white will work just fine for this, and you don't want to saturate them, you just want to get them evenly coated. And what this is going to do is allow our cinnamon sugar to stick onto them. You'll find that if you just take the pie dough itself and put it in the cinnamon sugar, you might have one section that sticks to it, but most of it's not going to stick. So this is just going to allow us to keep that tasty cinnamon sugar that we just made on here. And then, of course, you're just gonna go in and sprinkle your cinnamon sugar on top of these. I like to give mine a fairly heavy coat of them, but you can do whatever you feel is the right amount for you. You can do just a little bit, or you can do a lot. I did, again, quite a heavy little coat here. Meanwhile, you will want to have your oven preheating to 425 degrees. We want this high temperature anytime we are working with a pie crust, because it will help the pie crust to really puff up and be light and fluffy and have all those layers that you want in a pie crust. So I am going to put my pie crust cookies in for about 15 minutes here. 12 to 15. I would check on them early just to make sure you're not going overboard. But once they've puffed up and they're nice and crisp on the underside, then you're good to go ahead and pull them out. And these pie crust cookies are absolutely beautiful, and they will taste so good dipped in some hot chocolate or with some hot apple cider. Just a wonderful fall treat.